Lou, we're excited to be here with you talking about the BTEA and contractors and construction in New York City. Thank you so much.
Pleasure for me to be here, Liam. Thank you.
Recently, the City Council passed a number of bills to increase safety in construction. One of the controversial ones was Intro 1447, and in that bill, I wanted to know the position that the BTEA had.
Let me tell you what the BTEA's position was on that bill. We expressed to the administration and the council, we had three basic principles. Number one is that every worker in the city of New York should have some basic level of safety training. We did not get into the debate about whether it should be 20 hours or 40 hours or 60 hours, but every worker deserves some level of training. Number two, we said the contractor should have to pay for it, not the taxpayer. If you're a contractor and you're not willing to invest in the safety of your own workforce, in my opinion, you don't belong in this business. The third principle was that the buildings department needed to have the resources necessary to enforce it. Because if you're not going to enforce it, then this is just empty rhetoric, empty words on a piece of paper.
You talked a little bit about high construction costs, and the unions have been creating agreements with contractors to try to lower those costs. Do you think they've been doing enough?
On the public sector side, project labor agreements have been very successful. On the private sector side, it depends on what job. On the residential market, we achieved the 20% cost savings that we thought we would. No, we didn't. The savings there were probably 7 to 10%. But the mistake we made was that we based those cost savings too much on 20% wage cuts. And in a market as strong as this, no one's taking a 20% wage cut. However, I will say that many of the trades have made changes with my members through the collective bargaining process, doing things by changing work rules, by creating new job classifications with lower wage and fringe benefit rates. Some have just eliminated or reduced their benefits on their own.
Lou, please tell me how we can get more minority and women-owned business enterprises in the construction trades.
Government needs to embrace prime contractors as a partner. The way they've structured these programs, that we're adversaries. Issues like liquidated damages if you don't achieve a goal are not the way to grow MWB contractors. Reforming the 240 scaffold law is. Providing financial bonding assistance to MWBE contractors is another way to do it. There's an old saying that a goal is just a wish if you don't have a plan. And I think we're at a very unique point, is that I think that for the first time, I'm encouraged about the city and state being willing to engage BTEA contractors and figuring out how do we grow MWBE companies.
So recently, President Trump has been talking about steel and aluminum tariffs. Is that making you and your members a little bit nervous?
It makes all of us, including owners, it should make us very nervous because it's going to be a cost increase. And depending where you are in the scheme of your project, I mean, suppose you haven't ordered your steel already. And now you order your steel and it costs 10% higher than it did before. Now the owner has to go back to the bank, the contractor has to sit down with the owner. Those kinds of policies are not helping the construction industry. You know, if the United States had the capacity to produce its own steel and to meet the market demand, maybe you would say, good policy, you're trying to create jobs here. But it doesn't. You know, many of the steel plants and the tariffs on other products are not produced in the United States anymore. And even if they are, we are in construction really growth period of time across the country. So the competition for those goods and services that are produced here, I mean, it's market forces. Those prices are going to go up. If I were a supplier, I'd do the same thing.
So the Gateway Tunnel is a project that is very important to the vitality of the city, yet it's been stalled. Why do you think that project is not moving forward?
The federal government has walked away from funding transportation and infrastructure projects across the country. The Gateway project, in my estimation, is the single most important project in this entire region. One bridge goes out, and you may have 200,000 people that can't get to work or go to work. But if that project doesn't get funded, this region is going to be really negatively affected.
It's been very insightful. Thank you for your time.
Liam, thank you very much for the opportunity, because I have a great deal of respect for for the contractors I represent, and I don't think that they get enough credit and recognition for what they do in this industry.